Check this out. This is the storms rolling in on Sunday the 17th of November on the backside of the cold front. Camera does not do it justice. Along that horizon, this is blacker than pitch, and it's only 5:30 in the afternoon. Winds in these storms are exceeding anywhere from 40 to 70 miles an hour. Wow. The tractor's been all set up for winter. I took the turf tires off, put the new bar tires on that was sold to me, or given to me when I bought this tractor. The quick attach subframe for the snowblower is on. You got to take that grill guard off to mount this on there. It basically aligns with one pin down here and two wedges up on top of here where that grill guard sets. You tighten them wedges up and it basically sandwiches this thing on here, and then you put another pin through the bottom a little higher than the one you see here that keeps that whole system from racking. And then you hook it all back into your control valve, and here's the main unit itself back here. Can't wait to get out and play with this year. It's gonna be so much fun. But I first have got to add some weight to the back of the tractor. My father-in-law is going to give me a yard roller he had. It has 7/8 diameter shafting through it, solid shafting, that'll fit right in the eyelets of this 3-point Category 1 hitch. And I'll be able to add about 250 pounds to the back of this tractor, and it ought to solve our problems completely. Because without that mower deck on, without the loader on, this thing's very light in the rear end. You don't notice it quite so much with just this quick attachment on here, but when you put that snowblower on there, it makes a world of difference. The gearbox on the snowblower is not exactly centered, so when it picks it up, it has a tendency to pick up one side faster than the other, and then by the time it catches, you can feel the whole thing kind of doing one of these numbers a little bit. So just needs a little bit of ballast in the back. And it's kind of neat now that when they sell these Kubota tractors, if you buy a loader, it comes with a weight box as part of the deal. If you buy a loader or any front blade or anything like that, included in your blade purchase is a weight box. You sure didn't think about that in the year 2000, but we're going to improvise here in 2013 to make this work. Can't be stuck out there in the middle of the driveway in the dead of winter with snow blowing around me because my tractor's lost its weight in the rear end. It's never good. Well, welcome to the first edition of Cooking with Nate. On tonight's show, we're to be serving up a piping hot Apple iPod Nano 6th generation. I told you in the previous video that this power button quit working on this particular unit, and after watching several videos on YouTube, there is a way you can fix this at home, short of sending it to Apple for $65, not including your shipping, to have them tear it apart and fix it. Thing of it is, if you break this screen, it's pretty much game over. You might as well just junk the thing. But to get this screen out, being this whole case is a solid piece of aluminum, there's no screws. Even this clip is attached internally. You gotta take a heat gun, heat up this screen to loosen the adhesive all the way around the outside edges, and then take a soft pry tool, which is what this thing here is. I'm going to use it for that, and easily lift the screen starting on this side here first. This is the right hand side with your headphone jack being in the bottom corner. Start working on this side and unhinge this thing and open it up like a book, because along this side there's a data ribbon cable that drives this touch screen, and you don't want to start ripping on that. You tear that data cable, you're pretty much SOL. And once you get in there, you can unplug this screen and move some of its guts around and stuff, and then there's a set of screws supposedly at the top of this thing that allows another ribbon cable to drop down and to pull this power switch out, and you can then repair it from there. So I'm going to start heating it up. I got my Black & Decker heat gun. This will go up to 1100 degrees. I've only ever used this thing for a handful of projects, but it's been very handy. So we'll set it to about a medium heat, and it takes some heat to get this thing to release its adhesive. So what I did on top of my bench, I put a couple hot pads. I've got an old cookie sheet my wife let me borrow, and we'll start heating it up. Like I said, I'm going to set my heat gun to the lowest setting, and we'll dial it up about halfway. And away we go. I'll be back in a little bit. It just keeps getting darker and darker. Off to the east it's still nice and bright. Wow. Darker, darker, darker. And the reason why it's like that is that right there on the TV inside. Does anybody notice anything missing from this spot in the backyard? Well, there used to be a 20-foot Bradford pear tree here, and it was exactly 20 years old when them storms come through this past Sunday and basically broke it off right at the top of the trunk and laid all of the limbs right in this area between here and here. Didn't touch the propane tank and didn't even touch this flower bed right here. It's just amazing how the wind laid this thing. It took it right to the northeast. It just barely brushed, I should say, it just barely brushed fingers on the propane tank. But she's gone. These storms weren't nothing to fiddle around with, folks. We got really lucky. I feel really bad for the people out in Washington, Illinois, and those points out there that got hammered by these tornadoes and straight line winds and all that stuff. You know, they woke up typical Sunday morning with everything to live for and went to bed with nothing to their possessions at all, you know. And some even gave more sacrifices than that. But this is very odd how this particular tree fell, because I live in an area out here that's happened more than once that straight line winds have damaged stuff on this particular property where I'm at. Now we lost our tree, okay? I'm looking right now to the southwest from our property. And I go back here on the other side of these trees. You all see that big red barn right there? It's got the nightlight on the end of it. Right off to this side, to the left side of that big white barn, is two campers. One's laying on its side, and the other one's laying on top of the owner's wife's car that them winds destroyed, okay? So picture this. Here comes this wind, right straight across, comes up here, demolishes my tree, and it's not stopping there. I'm going to flip around and look back to the northeast. I'll stand right here where the stump's at. Back off in this direction's the northeast, right back over that way. On the other side of those two trees over there, two neighbors down from me, there's a 3-car pole barn garage. She lost her roof off of the garage on both sides of the roof. The standing seam roofing come off. She still actually has the particle board roofing itself. It was just the overcovering that come off, and about half a dozen busted pine trees at the corner of her property. Now from here it kind of hit and miss and went towards on the other side of town with me and tore the roof off of 3 different barns, damaged numerous trees and a couple houses, and there's even a barn about 4 miles to the northeast of me that looked like God put his foot on top of it and just smashed it. I mean, just obliterated that barn. Basically blew it out to a pile of rubble. It was really amazing. And I missed that the first day I went back to work after all these storms had come through. But really fortunate here. 10 years ago, this is 2003, would have been 11 years ago, 2013 I should say, 11 years ago, this house that I live in lost its roof due to straight line winds. Here's our lumber pile from the tree. And it basically laid the whole roof, folded it up like an accordion, and laid it right down here in the front yard. Yeah, today's the day that work gives out to our turkeys. It's exactly 1 week before Thanksgiving. And this is a tradition the company I work for has been doing for at least 50 years for its employees, that the week before Thanksgiving it gives every employee a turkey, and every employee also gets a ham a week before Christmas. It's very nice. This turkey's probably about a 12-pounder, and it'll comfortably feed me and the wife and her mom and dad and grandma. And we'll probably still have enough fixings for sandwiches the rest of the week and part of the week after that to take back to work. I always do, it seems like. Yeah, my company, the company that I work for, has been doing this for quite a number of years, and bear in mind they don't have to do that. And it's kind of a nicety in this day and age that they'll still go out and do that as the prices rise and things like this. And you know, economy ain't getting any better either, so you know, it comes out of their budget to help us out every year. And I duly do appreciate it. I thank the owner of the company, you know, for doing this for us. And it means a lot to those that can't afford a turkey dinner or a ham at Christmas to have something like this given to us. Thanks a lot. Now, if that ain't eerie enough, the direction that this roof went when it come off his house was exactly the same path that tree took when it fell this past Sunday. Wow, you know, it put up so many red flags of memories of 11 years ago when this house's roof come off. This folders are all up and laid her right out there. Here's our wood pile. We didn't gain much from this tree. Most of it was limbs. But down there on the garden, this whole area from here over to here is nothing but limbs off of that tree. I think that tree was just mostly limbs. There wasn't hardly any straight, huge diameter pieces off of it at all. But yeah, we got really, really lucky. Most of those bad cells went all to the northwest of us, up north of Fort Wayne and lower Michigan, farther north in Ohio, up around you know, Cleveland and those areas. That's a big enough burn pile for me. It's just insane that everything was cool, you know. The pictures that I took of the storm moving in over the pond was just about 45 minutes prior to this all happening, and about 6:10 p.m. all hell broke loose, and the winds came through, and a lot of people said that right around here. About 10 after 6, the power went out and the winds picked up, and it wasn't just where we're at, it was all areas around us here. I still haven't put my flag back up yet. I need to do that. This was no joking matter. This was some serious stuff. So yep, got a lot of stuff to burn now. I'm going to burn it on top of our garden and then till the ash into the garden. That'll really help for next season. Ought to give us a good boost in the growing season. But yeah, we really got lucky. I ought to wander over there someday and see if that neighbor ever got his camper stood back up or what they did with them. Wow. Okay, while I was operating on this thing, it come back to life. And for all y'all that ever wants to see what's inside of one of these, there's the back of our display. I got to take this shield out right there. This is lit up. This part right here is lit up. Kinda neat. But there's a ribbon cable right down there in the bottom. And if I remember right, it says you don't want to touch the back of this screen if you can't at all possibly avoid it. But you don't want to pick up this side right here because there's a ribbon cable down in there till you get that shroud out of that piece of aluminum out of there. Then you can unplug it from the main board. Well guys, I think for now we're at a standstill on this iPod project. I need a screwdriver that's either a double, triple, or quadruple aught screwdriver to fit these tiny little heads. Now I've got a precision set here that goes down to a 0. It's too big. And this Craftsman Evolved set goes down to a 0. That's probably a 1. This is a 0, and this must be a double 0 right here. This little guy. Still too big. So I think I probably need something like this in my MCM catalog. This is made by General Tool, and it goes down to quadruple aught and triple aught. About 30 bucks. I don't want to spend that much. I'd like to find the one screwdriver I need. But if I buy that whole set, then I wouldn't have to worry about lugging this set around and this set around and what's in the toolbox around. So I'm kind of looking around at that. Just a hunch. So that's going to be about it for now. I'll have to obtain the right screwdriver, and I'll pick back up on this again in the next random videos. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.